for being there. We are going to talk about AI today and AI standards and reference frameworks and their impact on test and quality. So we will start with the fact that we need a standard for AI, and then I will present you AI Act and the NIA, National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Act. It's like the AI Act, but for the US, and you will see that there are a lot of differences. And then I will introduce you some frameworks and working groups addressing AI before starting to talk about impact on testing. So, about the standards and the necessity to use them. AI, that's a buzzword, but AI is really complex. It has impact on everything on digital. They make classification, they make code decisions, they can make segregations and have issues with family allowances. All I'm talking about is things that are forbidden or that already happened. With family allowance, there were an issue in Netherlands, and family were accused to have these allowances while they have the right to have it. Therefore, they had no more these allowances and they were forced to pay back. And it was really problematic. Some people committed suicide because they couldn't pay. And it was really a scandal in Netherlands. We have also biased court decisions that we know with the example of the US, saying that people had no risk while they had, but the AI just based their decision on the skin color of people. AI, we also think about LLM and generative AI. That's the biggest thing currently. That also the things which has the more impact, but there are a lot of different AI. We don't have to use neural networks and generative AI to have AI. AI has a lot of risk as it's a really powerful tool. We can have obviously risk. The one we think about are job destructions, because AI will be able to do what some people do currently, which are the basic actions of people. We have also issues with the results. We might not understand the results. We don't know most of the time how the neural network gives the results. So we cannot explain it. There are also issues with data management. The use of personal data, we can see it with Facebook and Meta. They are going to use what we say on WhatsApp, for example, to train their AI. I'm not sure that it's something that everyone would want to do. There are rights and responsibilities with copyright management, AI, such as ChatGPT, train and reuse what they have learned on a lot of sites. But they don't mention them. So about the copyright and the right to use, it's problematic. We also have the issues with the drawing and videos in Ghibli style, which were really problematic and created the beginning of a scandal. And we don't talk of it a lot, but for me, it's one of the most important things. For the environment, we need the multiplications of power of GPU and so on. And according to the last report of Capgemini, uh, it will create thousands tons of e-waste just to be able to make work this AI. It will consume a lot of water and it will contribute to the destructions of our environment. That's one of the short-term risks. So we have to take care. The risks are not only short-term, it's also medium and long-term. If junior don't do actions because they don't have, we have lost jobs as before, we won't be able to replace confirmed and expert by the junior, and we might have issues and lack of knowledge. We might become dependent of AI. A lot of people use ChatGPT and they don't make review on what they have. They just copy paste the answer. We have the energy consumption and all philosophical questions that we can have in science fictions. What is what is life? Uh, where do we want to go? Uh, what do we want to give to AI the power to direct our lives? And there is also the Nick Bostrom's paperclip problem with the only goal of this AI is to to create paperclip, and we have a lot of issues because of that, because it doesn't consider other parameters. So AI standards, I think that we all agree that there are a lot of possibilities, and the limits are our imaginations. So there are many risks and there are potential abuses with deepfake, for example. We need to trust. We need to be sure that with AI, we won't have big issues and that we can rely on AI. And for that, we need to implement standards and reference frameworks. About standards, I think you all heard about AI Act. AI Act is a European Union law. Uh, it's, it's there to regulate AI, to define roles and responsibilities, to develop AI expertise, and also creating a right environment for innovation, for business, but also ensuring safety and confidence of European citizens. So it really gives limits. You can do AI. We will help you as much as we can to do AI, but we need to be sure that what you do is fine and that you are not doing things that's forbidden and you are doing what is right to be sure that you will limit the abuses on it. For that, they have forbidden some practices, except for the security of the state members. They define 3 different levels of risk related to AI, and it's really one of the pillars, because according to the level of risk, you will have more or less things to provide, document to provide, and administration things to do. Obviously, if the risk is higher, you will have more information to provide. It's set it up a lot of players to 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 give this role and responsibilities, and also to add layers of testing and of verifications. It's a big document with many exceptions and with a lot of annexes which are really important and which explain things. So, what is how we can make a summary of AI Act? For the roles and actors, we can do that. So it might be frightening, but don't worry, it's not as complicated as it looks like. We have companies, organizations that are working with AI. Sometimes they deploy it, sometimes they just build and create it, and sometimes they reuse it to distribute it. That's here, the deployers, and distributors. And if they want to put an AI on European market, they need to have an evaluation. So they ask for evaluations to an assessment organizations which contact notifying authorities. They evaluate, and then it comes back to give the answers. These notifying authorities and notified organizations are piloted by the member states. The member states are as important as the Commission. And as they are not AI specialists, they created group and experts to help them to take decisions. What is important is the Commission creates the law, but the states member have to transcript the law, the European law, inside their national law, and they have a lot of power, and there are a lot of choice that they can do and to adapt the law. Just before I told you about the different level of risk of AI. There are 3 levels of risk with AI. The first one, general purpose AI, are AI which are not on a sensitive subject, and AI which are not big. There are some parameters that they give, and in that case, you just need a technical documentation and a supplier documentation. Then you will have general purpose AI with systemic risk. That's AI which are not on a sensitive subject, but this AI have a lot of data, and as they have a lot of data, the risks are much higher. And even if you don't have sensitive data, with a lot of different data which are not sensitive, you can recreate sensitive data. So for that, you go to something a bit higher with risk assessment and mitigations. Well, and a model-based assessment for reducing risks. If you are doing some QA, it sounds quite normal for you, and it should be. So it's not really complicated to add, and it's really normal for me to have that when we have a high-risk product. You have to provide the doc and documentation to the AI office and ensure that there is a right level of cybersecurity to protect the data, for example, and follow up code practices that you have good practices to follow, and that you have to show that you need. So In these two cases, if you are doing well your QA, it's not really complicated to fulfill. It becomes complicated with the high-risk AI. So that's for the biggest AI and AI on sensitive subjects. There is a list of sensitive subjects. It's about private life of European Union, everything which is related to public uh, organization and area and public services and so on. You can have the list if you want, but here you can see that there are a lot of things that are mandatory. So it becomes really annoying. And obviously, if you can manage to dodge this, just do it. And that's one of the security. They make everything they can. They make dissuasion, but administrative dissuasion. Yes, you can do it, but you will have to do all of that to be to be allowed to be in the European Union. So I said also at the beginning that it's also they also make things in order to make AI and research on AI easier. So there are some articles on it. And about articles, there are more than 110 articles. The Article 2 define actors and scope. There is prohibited practices and so on. There is a dedicated article for quality control. So if when you read it, you understand what they mean, and you also understand that it's not QA who write these documents because of the wording, but it's really like you are on a high risk uh, on a high risk product, so you do a high risk test strategy. There are a lot of things uh, to help tiny companies, organizations. There are also all common specifications, operation, and so on. That is really interesting because you have a lot of things to answer here. But if you follow the common specifications, it's automatically validated. So it's also help. And there are big sanctions. The sanctions, and we'll come back on it, but it's really frightening. You better follow the rules than risking a sanction. The worst article, it's the effective date. The effective date of everything I show you uh, is 2031 for AI which are on the market before 2027. It's understandable because countries, states, and companies need to adapt. But this AI Act has been voted before ChatGPT. So until the end on 2027, we will have a lot of new AI which will not have to follow the rules in terms of confidence, in terms of uh, data protection, and so on. What you need to remember about this AI, it's there is a real thing that is done on. We discourage you of implementing AI, and we encourage you to have the lowest risk possible. Take take AI LLM, yes, but take the lowest model that you can have and avoid some subjects if you can. There is a lot of layers. Uh, for me, it's working like the elemental slice model in testing. Yes, nothing is perfect. and they are aware of it. But every actor has to warn and to raise an alert if they adopt on risk, and there are a lot of actors. So if there is a risk, and as there is 4, 5, 6 layers, we hope that one of these layers will raise the risk. And there are a lot of more chance that someone on all these actors will see something that if we have only one actor. There is also a lot of linked with European laws, specifically GDPR and the fundamental freedoms of European citizens and so on. The sanction, it's minimum 35 million euros. And if you are a big company, it will turn to be 7% of your what you gain and what you produce on 1 year. So it's really, really big. And as I said, it will be really effective only in 2013. Do you have question on AI Act? Because I don't see the chat. If there is questions, no, I don't see it. So let's continue on something which is much simpler. AI Act is more than 100 articles, a lot of annexes, a bit less than 200 pages to read. Naya, it's 4-5 pages, and that's all. The objectives are really different. It's to maintain the United States in the leader, as the leader. It's maximizing the benefits and preparing all sectors of the US economy to integrate AI. The means are really creations of some offices, support committees, coordinate, and giving some focus. It's really short, but as they create offices, it's quite interesting to to go see what are doing the offices. And one on these offices is the NIST AZ. The NIST AZ, it's a US government institute, and which has been created by the NIA. And the NIA has been set during the first Trump mandat. So it has been done in 2020. So it has been out at that time. And we can also see that it's America first. So what they do, they develop standards and guidelines, but which are only if people want to use it. So there is nothing mandatory. And the main objectives are to transform a vision into something possible, operational, and sustainable. And with sustainable, don't think about environment, think more about commercially sustainable. And how they do that, they create standards, test advanced model, and so on. The idea of the US with AI is like the idea on weapons. AI is not bad. Weapons are not bad. AI can be bad in the hands of bad people, as for the weapons. So AI will never be something bad for them, and they really say, and it's written like that, that what are the risks of misuse of AI? We will come back later. For the NIST AZ, mhm, here is an official scheme that is that is shown. It has been released uh, in uh, early 2020s, and I personally think that they didn't uh, created a lot yet. There is a guideline draft managing misuse risk for dual use foundation models. And so it's still a draft, at least it was last time I checked. And the idea is to identify the best practice for developers to improve safety, security, and reliability. So they provide best practice. They identify the risk and scopes. They give key challenges for identifying and assessing and measuring the risk. So the idea is also to help uh, AI workers to find. We tell them where to search, what to look for in order to find easily issues, and we we have all objectives and practices to manage the risk of abuse. This this draft is more interesting than the NAIA, and it really gives good practices. But as it's not mandatory, only goodwill will do it. So the comparison between AI Act and NAIA. On the shape, it's totally different. NIAC just give guidelines and ideology, while AI Act try to be really go deep in details and try to say how we do it and really gives limits and how to implement it. There is prohibitions with AI Act and some exceptions according to the prohibitions. With the NIA, there is just guidelines. The structures are more complex in AI, but it's linked to European Union than in NIA. And the general idea with AI Act, we want to develop AI that respect people and European citizens. We want the trust of people, of the European citizens, and we want to develop the good AI. With the NIA, it's more that we want to develop AI to remain the AI leaders. So there is nothing about trust. So there are a lot of frameworks and working groups which address AI. There is one, I will present you some of them. One of them is Area 31, that's a French group which works on ethical and responsible AI framework, and it is supported by a group called INR. It's the Institute of Digital Responsibility, and they provide a framework like that with also, yes, it's a picture, that's why it's not translated. It's about strategy, how to frame a project, the user experience, user interface, and the technological basis. Then, so this one is really recognized in France, and it's the first one which has been deployed or presented. There is also another that I really like. It's Frugal AI. And it works like other frameworks with different parts, but they also give information on a process to implement AI. And this process is something that is pushed by the European Union with the AI Act. The first thing to do is to question the need. What do we need? And what can we do to answer this need? It's useless to do AI just to say that you are doing AI. In a lot of cases, you can do it more effectively for a cost which is really lower without AI. So we have to find the solution. Some are AIs, maybe some are not AI, and then you evaluate the solutions and you evaluate solutions on the efficiency, but also on environmental impact. And then you select the solutions and you do it. So you can do AI. It's really not a problem. But if you do AI, do the right one, size it well. There are also communication tips, and uh, there is also help on it with the impact. So for this framework, you can see the families. It's a bit more complex than for Area 21, but it's something. You can see that there is a lot of groups that I present that are French group. Um, it's true that I know better French organization and group, but generally in France there are a lot of people aware on these subjects which are working on this kind of subject. Uh, and I know that in US it's more complex to find this kind of group. I don't say they don't exist, but we don't really see them easily and find them easily. There is another which based on eco design. It's uh, it's French again. It's a general referential for eco design of digital services. And it's not really linked directly to AI because there are 9 families, but all families can work on AI, and especially everything which is on hosting on backend. And there is one which is exclusively AI centric, which is based on AI training. There is a group Confiance.ai. I like this group because it's more a private group with a lot of different organizations, and they work on the implementation of AI and to make it work. There is the EU guidelines on ethics. You can find it quite easily. I'm going quite quick on it because, as you can see, there is a lot. There is in France Equitia, which work on ethic and AI. Uh, do you have questions? Okay, don't hesitate. Huh? I'm there to answer your questions. So now go back on the impact of standards on testing. The impact of AI for us, except if you are not in the European Union, it's the biggest impact. The first one is to do shift left and do a really big shift lefting. And you need to challenge the AI interest in the need, like for AI, frugal AI. So the AI impact imposes a lot of procedures. So the best thing to do is to avoid AI, even if you have seen that if it's a low risk AI, you will have not a lot of things to provide. I didn't tell it, but it's also quite important that to know that if you do your AI open source, an open source AI, you will have less risk. It lowers the risk to have um, to have an open source AI, and then you challenge the needs for the AI. That way, it means that which what is the lowest AI I can use, and then so sorry, there are some French. It's suppose it's something that has been done in French at the beginning. But what you have to remember is challenge. You challenge. You make shift left to see if you need AI, and then you do shift left to know which AI you will use. And if you have a high risk AI because it's mandatory, because you are working on a sensitive subject, then uh, do checklists because there are a lot of things. Make sure that you do the documentation, test. You have to test all the logs because it's really important to be able to share the logs and to keep them and so on. You have to build a test plan for a critical system, a critical product. One of the things is to anticipate deadlines because there are a lot of documents. You have to you have to go on the uh, notify organization here. No, here. So the assessment organization, and then the authorities, which goes to the organization, it takes time. It won't be done in 1 or 2 days. And if there is something which is not totally clear, they will ask you to do some modifications. So take the time, anticipate delay, because they will have, even if they are really performant and really quick, there are a lot of things to do. And you have to schedule also all the life cycle uh, of the product with testing. So there is shift right too. About the NIA, well, there is no direct impact. You might have more impacts with laws at state level, but not at the federal level with the NIA. And the guidelines can help you from NIST AZ can help you to uh, go uh, quicker, to be faster. And but if you don't want to do it because you think that it's too heavy, you just don't do it. It's more like advices that you can have. For Area 31, so you will see that it will be quite near of AI Act. You have to test early. We are on shift left with the challenges, the contributions, the interest of each feature. So interest of each feature is like the need and challenge the data volume and data in general. In long term, you also have to evaluate the environmental impact, the independency, and new. So it's a lot of new the things, new indicators to implement. It's for environmental impact. It's for me a new family of quality that could be integrated in the ISO 25010 in a couple of years. For Frugal AI, it's shift left. It's working on optimization and continuous improvement. It's doing some training. It's important to have people trained to use, to develop, to test AI. It's totally new. It's not the kind of digital services we are used to use, to test, and to develop. We need to be trained on it. You should add things into your test plan. And what is important is also communication tips. How can you communicate on your AI and on the fact that you are developing a trustful AI? For RGESN, it's eco design, it's best practices for eco design, and for the AI in particular, it's try to have as efficient as possible with your training, AI training. So, what what is the impact on testing of all these standards uh, and reference frameworks? If we don't talk about Genaya, it's really use AI when it's necessary. Use it, but use it when it's needed. And you have to bring trust and security. If the users don't trust you, they won't use you. I'm not trusting some companies like Facebook, Meta, and so on, so I don't use it. And if we want people to use AI, we need to have people that are not thinking what will they do with what I do? How do they spy me? What information do they take? Because we don't need a lot to lose the confidence of people, and when it's lost, it's really difficult to have it back. You have to limit environmental impact, so you have to be trained on eco-design indicator, taking into account the impact of the AI. It's really important. The digital industry is always more contributes always more to the pollution and the environmental impact. And with the AI, it's getting worse, and it's getting really, really worse. And of course, you have to encourage research and development. It's really powerful. We can do a lot of things. Yes, we can do bad things, but we can do a lot of wonder things with AI. We need to improve this technology, but improve it while remembering we are in a finite world. We have limits, and we cannot go far beyond these limits. Because if it's working now, it won't work tomorrow, and it won't be sustainable quality. It will be quality for a couple of years, and then it will be over for a lot of us. So, a quick conclusion. AI, it's expanding really quickly, and there are huge prospects for the future. and we can deny it. AI is part of the world, and we will use it. Now we have to know how we will use it because uh, as it's really powerful, there are risks, so we need frameworks and there are standards and references. I showed you a lot of standards and references. There is the laws like AI Act and NIA. This is one, it's quite clear. For all other, it's like for the LLM, at the beginning, there are a lot of them. And with time, we will see what are the most effective, and this is the one which will remain. So if we do this presentation in 2 or 3 years, maybe I will have to present you only one or two standards besides the AI Act and NIA, and maybe the one that I will present are not presented in that presentation. And of course, the emergence of AI means that we will have the emergence of AI testing. How to use AI, new technology, new challenges, new risks. So be prepared. There are some training on AI, there are some certifications, but there is nothing better than experiencing it yourself and understanding what is done, how it's working, and talk with people outside of test to have a global vision of AI. So one other thing is what we have seen with standards and frameworks. They provide you good practices. They tell you what to do with fish flat, with challenging the needs, with challenging the size of what we need. Well, it's something that we already know. It provides existing practices. Uh, as I said, for AI, it's a strategy, master test plan on a critical subject. But what they do, it's things that we know already for most of them, that we do for nuclear, for uh, for aeronautics, for everything that can impact directly our lives. So don't be afraid. We won't recreate everything. We will use good and best practices and we will adapt it to AI and especially to the AI product that we are going to test. So that's all for me. I see one question. So, considering the stricter legal framework established by EU AI Act compared to US NIA, do you think these regulations might limit the growth or competitiveness of small AI startups in Europe? So that's a question we have a lot. AI Act really makes things to help uh, startups in Europe. They provide use sandboxes, they provide them common specifications, and I personally believe that there is nothing more to stimulate innovation, nothing more effective to stimulate innovation that having constraints and limits. Uh, we managed to go on the moon with a simple calculator. And yes, it will be, it's a bit harder at the beginning, but it can we can see things emerge that we could not have been thinking that it was possible. So only the future will tell us if it was good or right for the competitiveness, but I really believe that it's not something good or bad, and we can have a lot of nice surprises. Moreover, uh, companies from the US, if they want to go to the European Union, they will have to follow AI Act 2. If they don't, they won't have access. So, are they able to say we won't go to European Union, or while it's the biggest market in the world, and for the US they are not in war, in commercial war like they are with China? I don't think so. So I think that it will apply to a lot of companies. Other questions? Oh, so certifications. I'm not really specialized with certifications. I know that there are two AI certifications in ISTQB. I didn't pass them, so I can't say if they are really good, but in testing, ISTQB is quite good. And there is also a training for smart testing. There is no certification, but you manipulate a lot and you understand how LLM are working and how to implement it in your daily work as a tester. So this one is nice too. Any other question? No? Then thanks a lot for your time. Don't hesitate to contact me or anyone else from K-LAGAN. If you have questions, we will answer to them. I stop the recording and have a nice meal. Bye.